guy freaked me out. Totally freaked me out. But maybe leaving water standing in the studio was a bad idea. I'm just saying.
You and me, babe. You and me, babe. It's just nothing else like you. We're ready to go.
So I got some experiments going on over here. I thought I'd share. I need flat pieces, and that is like virtually impossible in the pottery world. Because the clay wants to curl, but the key is how you end up drying it. So I put a wet cloth over. This one had already curled really bad, and I wanted to straighten it out or sacrifice it completely. So I dunked it in water because it was still a little moist, and I turned it over, and it flattened out because as the water soaked in, I put a wet towel over the top of it. There's still some dampness in the towel. And then I put a bag over the top of that to keep the towel from drying out too fast. So the theory is the board will help dry out the front side of the leaf, where the towel will help dry the back side of the leaf, but the front side and the back side will dry at more of the same. So the towel's keeping it wet on top while the wetness comes out of the bottom, basically. Because what normally happens is whatever's on top just, well, it can do all sorts of things. I have another one, kind of the same song, second verse. Put a wet cloth over him for the same reason, and this cloth is way out of water. So I'm going to moisten him and do the same thing. So experimenting with how to get these things, keep them flat, because I want the fairy house to be able to sit on top of it nice and flat. So I'm putting the wet cloth, it's damp, it's not wet. Putting the wet cloth over the top, and then I'm going to put a little plastic bag on top of that. This is still pretty wet. But I should be able to drape it with plastic, and then as the towel dries out, so will the leaf. So I've tried to show this before, but it never has really come out. I thought this was already slam wedged, but as you can see, clearly it's not. But these little areas here, so these areas are harder than the areas in between. There's all sorts of holes in it. So I've had to slam wedge this before I can do any more throwing. Which is fine, but I'll show you basically the before. Through, and now all those little pockets have turned into layers, like a croissant or something. You can tell I was raised in a bakery, right? So now what I'm looking for is no layers. And once I have no layers, then it's ready to just regularly wedge. 2 pounds clay, right? So these 3 are 2 pounds. And this is 2.5 pounds. But this, guys, is really, really thin. So I don't know that he's gonna make it. I really don't. It's hard because you gotta poke those holes in, but they don't want to poke in wet clay. So I'm gonna have to explore that a little bit. Maybe it's just my tool. I don't know. This is part of my splash pan. Broke my splash pan. But that's what we got today. So 4 out of 5 on the planters. That is fantastic. Good job, Herbert. But Herbert and I are going in. We are going to take a nice, cozy bath. Huh. Thanks for coming.
you.